Hello, I'm Rich Johnson from Bleeding Cool, and this is Tom from Twitter and stuff. We've just been to see X-Men First Class. Free tickets from Fox. That was nice of them, wasn't it?
They were lovely tickets.
There were lovely tickets, and there were lovely free seats, and it was a lovely free show. Not that we're in any way biased.
Right.
Did you feel biased?
A little bit.
No, just a little bit. But we just come to the restaurant after the film and just had a very nice pizza. Thankfully for Pizza Hut, which we've had to pay for, of course.
Yeah,
so, you know, there's no free to go. But no, the film, it was, I really enjoyed it. What do you think?
Yeah, I was expecting it to be a good film. I didn't think it'd be that good.
No, I agree. I mean, my expectations were raised. I like the whole idea about the 60s, kind of mix of like spy and James Bondy and Mad Men kind of films. And instead I actually got something, we got all that as well, but then we actually got like a big kind of like Cold War thriller spy explosion. And I thought
superheroes.
Yeah, and superheroes,
Everything you
yeah.
want.
Actually, but also in the Cold War, and I thought that was fantastic. I really enjoyed the way they took the idea of the mutant struggle, the way it reflects things like the civil rights movement, but also the way it kind of reflects like the way humanity is at war with itself. And you had America and Russia, and they put all that into the pot, again, a big mix. And I thought it was really strong.
They even managed to adhere to X-Men movie continuity.
They
Impressively.
did. Absolutely. I don't think
apart from a couple of little niggles.
Hold on, what were your niggles?
Well, Moira McTaggart's accents,
yes,
which is strangely American.
It is quite American.
She's played by Olivia Williamson in X-Men 3.
That's
and
right.
has a very Scottish accent. So.
But you had a theory about that, didn't you?
Well, my theory is that Charles Xavier implanted the Scottish accent in her head.
So she'd fit in more or less.
Yeah, just so she'd fit in.
I think that's fair enough, and I think you just earned yourself a no prize there. So well done. But there we go. But no, it did seem that there were quite a few bits we see. I see you with your surname, you with your power base. You must clearly be a father or mother or nephew to a future kind of person. And I like the way they have the Beast, and they go through the Beast transformation in the film as well. I don't know the different ticks there.
I mean, a lot of the things obviously have been kind of foreshadowed in the trailers.
Yes.
But
I've mostly stayed away from them, I have to say.
Yeah, I mean, there is quite a bit that was shown in the trailers, but unlike when I normally see a trailer of a film and then I see the film, well, I felt like they didn't give all that much away in the trailer because there was so much in the film.
It was a long film. It was a long film, but it was full. It was busy. It was fast. It kept moving. I didn't feel bored at any point. And it kept changing location all around the world as well. And, had all that split screen kind of stuff to move through the montage of training at the school as quick as possible. Yeah, I mean, it moved fast, and it was about 2.5 hours. I think it was somewhere close to.
About 2.5 hours.
But no, I was very impressed with an awful lot of that. And there were some standout scenes. I mean, I'm thinking about the way the coin was used at the beginning, and the way Magneto's power.
It's quite funny because I mean, if you saw the original teaser poster, it was a big X-Men First Class logo on a big round, big circle, big metal circle, and you finally find out what that big metal circle is.
You do.
It's the back of a Nazi coin.
It's the back of a Nazi coin, but again, that's the kind of the image of the circle and the cross. So again, you've got the idea of like the noughts and crosses game being played, and you see the circles and the crosses played against each other. A bit like Terrorhawks. You're probably too young to have seen Terrorhawks, aren't you? Well, noughts and crosses. You know what noughts and crosses are.
Oh yeah.
Here we go. So it's a bit like that, using that kind of symbology and imagery. But yeah, I mean, what else? Anything else? Did you pick up any of the specific scenes that stick out in a non-spoilery way? Of course.
Yeah, there is one scene in particular where a well-loved Marvel character uses language that he'd never be allowed to use in a Marvel comic.
I've got to say, this is the language that it's interesting you picked that up. For example, a sort of film like Life of Brian, I love the way that the fuck word is used once in that film. The fuck word. Oh, especially the F word. Yeah. And again, in this film, the word fuck is used once, and it's used so wonderfully and beautifully and powerfully, and you think, yeah, that's what we want. Not like this, kick-ass where it's all over the place and it loses its impact. But in X-Men First Class, it's used absolutely wonderfully, and everyone watching it, they won't see it coming, and it'll be there, and it's just brilliant. And so it's nice to see that kind of structural strength as
And
well.
some great special effects as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
God, what
some,
would you like?
some of the mutant powers, Emma Frost particularly.
Okay,
looks
I'm a big
quite spectacular.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of Shaw, Sebastian Shaw, especially the way she takes all the energy in. I mean, yes, you've got all the big, strong themes about civil rights and power and humanity, and then you've got really, really cool stuff. And Kevin Bacon as Sebastian Shaw, all of him, all twisting and turning as he takes power in and transforms it. I thought that was superb.
And Angel Salvador as well.
Oh, yeah.
I just we saw a little hint of it in the trailer, but when you see it in the film, it's absolutely beautiful.
I mean, that's it.
Really impressive.
Especially early Beast, I thought. I mean, not so much as much in the first episode. We had that kind of prehensile foot, kind of foot with a hand kind of attached to it. I thought that was really, really good. And you see that kind of, you see his little training thing with Professor Xavier as well. That was gorgeous just to watch it.
Well, the only thing I felt disappointed about the Beast was in the kind of climactic battle. He didn't have much to do other than follow the plane.
This is true. He was very good at hanging off stuff.
Yeah, he was
a lot of hanging off stuff
to begin with. Yeah, but in the final battle, he
but to be fair, he did kind of invent the plane and invent their special suits.
Yeah,
all that
yeah.
kind of thing.
He did
So
lots of inventing.
Except he's the backroom boy, like Moira.
I mean, he's always been the backroom boy in the comics, to be fair, most of the time.
I mean, I remember the Stan and Jack stuff. He was kind of like, again, he was mostly hanging off stuff.
Well, yeah, back then, yeah.
But he was still bouncing off and hitting things. He was doing a little bit less hitting. In terms of other stand-up performances, I still think James McAvoy as Professor X, Charles Xavier, I thought that was sensational. All the way through, all the emotional points from highs to lows.
He was completely convincing. I mean, you're so used to Patrick Stewart playing Xavier, basically. Xavier with a bald head in general.
Oh, I'd forgotten about him.
I know exactly.
I'd absolutely forgot about him. I didn't even care about Patrick Stewart in this. I was totally absorbed by this Xavier's journey.
And I thought Nicholas Hoult as well. I mean, he's a total counterpoint to his character and skin. It's this kind of repressed geek. It's something we can all relate to.
And how do you feel about January Jones? Because we must have known from another period film or TV series.
Yes, Mad Men. Well, I mean, it's certainly as the film started, it was quite a lot like Mad Men. Mad X-Men.
Yes, well, certainly the idea of using the strip clubs and the smoking and the alcohol and stuff was very.
It did feel very nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
then it became James Bond, and then it became Dr. Strangelove, and it was like, and it kept jumping. I really loved that. I mean, Matthew Vaughn was clearly drawing on a lot of different sources here. I mean, it looked a fantastic film. It looked special, I think, in the way that it was
seamless.
Yeah, but it was a period, but we haven't really seen this before. The idea of actually doing not just a different kind of people, different kind of powers, but actually doing a different age. I think I thought this was sensational. I mean, I wasn't around in the '60s, so I can't really tell you. But also again the history, the way they took the history of the Bay of Pigs event, and they kind of made their own little version of it. So you know how it's going to have to end. There can't actually be a nuclear war. It's about how you actually get to that point. I thought was very interesting as well, seeing the where they twisted and turned history. But again, that was a while ago. I mean, I'm wondering. I wonder if any of this will actually be to certain audiences. It's like it'll be like the really long past, and it won't actually have that resonance. I mean, because this is very much a Cold War '60s film, literally. And will an audience still be able to relate to that? I mean, you did a bit, but even you say you were fuzzy with the history.
Yeah, I am fuzzy with the history, but I enjoyed it a great deal. I could see what they're getting at. It's very much about the whole kind of paranoia 60s life. And I suppose when you're in a room with telepaths, you don't get more paranoid than that.
Well, that's right. I mean,
they did some wonderful stuff with telepathy.
Yes, absolutely, and it was all tying into that idea of, do they know what we're thinking? Which is what, in many ways, actually drove the Cold War. It was the belief that the other side knew what you were doing, so doing more and more and more. And I remember specifically, there's a whole thing about an invented scenario where I think it's invented the idea that the Russians were training telepaths as like some kind of disinformation thing, but this was doing it for real because these really were the kind of telepaths. So yeah, this is nice thing. There's just so much in this film to kind of like talk about and chew about, and I'll probably be thinking about it after I go and see it again at some point. There's one thing we should point out actually, that there is no post-credit scene.
Well, in the version we saw,
that's true.
It may maybe in the final cut.
But so if you're sitting
We're
through
not
all
assuming that there is one.
if you're sitting through all the bits at the end, waiting,
We wish
will
we
there be a thing?
didn't, basically.
We did. We saw a lot of credits. A lot of people made this film, and we've seen them
Including
all
Amir
now.
Khan, weirdly.
There were a lot of names in there, absolutely. Yeah. So if you get to the credits, you think, should we wait? Should we go? No, we'll you go. It'll be fine.
It's brilliant.
And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it as much as we do. And even if you have to pay for your tickets, lovely. Thank you very much.